Good evening and welcome to an interview. Tonight I'm going to be talking to Scott about Alpha, and we're doing a series of interviews with people who've done Alpha over the last few years as we kind of look at promoting our first ever Zoom Alpha course that we're going to be starting this term. And actually, Scott's going to tell us a bit about his journey, but just as an introduction, Scott is part of the team who will be leading it on Tuesdays. On Zoom. So we've got Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So Scott, enough of me. Why did you come on Alpha?
It's a good question, Alex, and I've been thinking about this one. It wasn't a very distinct answer, but what I can say is I'd often walk past some areas and see the sign, the advertising sign on the boards saying, join Alpha, and I always thought, that's not for me. I'm already attending church. I'm good. And then I heard a couple of testimonies from other people, much like I'm doing right now, and it kind of spoke to me. And I turned to my wife Jo in one service at St Mary's, and she said, "It's kind of something I want to do." And she said, "Yeah, go for it." So it wasn't really something that I was thinking about. It's more something that just happened, which it's a brilliant experience for it that it has happened. I'll be honest.
I'm sure I remember speaking to you at the end of that service. I think we had a conversation at the back.
Exactly.
I remember.
Yeah. 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 I was curious and wanted to know a little bit more. So why not ask you?
What were the highlights?
Nicky Gumbel's dress sense. You'll get to know who Nicky Gumbel is if you go on it. It's always fun seeing how little he changes his jumper. I'll say I was always curious in terms of the videos. But on a more serious note, I'd say it's a cliche when people talk about Alpha, but it is certainly the friendship and the camaraderie and the bond that you form with the people that you are lucky enough to do Alpha with. I mean, that is a huge highlight. And almost 2 years after my stint of doing Alpha, I'm more and more close with people that I've spent those evenings with. Other things obviously are, well, I did it with yourself and John, the knowledge and just the availability of resources, both from yourselves and also just being able to be pointed in the right direction in terms of which book to pick up or how about trying this. So those sort of things that for me as a sort of young sort of rekindling Christian, if I can use that phrase, to be able to know where to go and find those resources. Just attending Alpha alone for that is worth its weight in gold.
And I think one of the things that people often say to me, Scott, is that their view of Alpha before they go on it is very different to what they actually find. I think often people think they're just going to be maybe preached at by the Alpha leaders in some kind of controlled space where they're kind of told what they should think. Was that your experience?
I can see how people would think that if they've got a sort of a very stereotyped view of what a church or the church is that you get preached to and this is the way it must be done. In Alpha, it's kind of the opposite, which is brilliant. It's more I found, and I'm sure other people that have done it will agree, is the fact that it's us asking questions of the church and gaining that insight via your own experiences and your questions and your insecurities and wanting to find out more, as opposed to being in an environment which is very dictatorial. It's the exact opposite of it. It's very three-way and community based in terms of being able to share experiences. And the nice thing about Alpha as well is the fact that you get such a nice mix of people, people that have come back to faith, people that are still learning, people that are still very fresh and young and not really know much about it, but they've just been sent or, want to find out more. And so you get that blend. So it's certainly not a case of this is the way to do it and this is what you will do. It's more a case of we're here, how can you help us or how can you inform us better?
Yeah. I think it's often, it's just those natural conversations, isn't it? And there's no kind of questions that are off limits. And I think that makes it a very natural space and a place where, because of that, you as you said earlier, you make those really deep friendships.
Yeah, I mean, you hit on it. Obviously, one of the key important factors of alpha is that anything that is mentioned in an alpha session is very much, private and confidential between that group, because it becomes that personal. And it's, it's not an, I'd say, particularly in this day and age, I mean, COVID in particular, it's almost impossible to really connect with somebody who you don't really know that well, 2 or 3 weeks ago at the beginning of an alpha course. And alpha allows those barriers to be broken down, and with that openness and sharing, it allows for a lot of learning and understanding and caring of the people that you're with. And then I think I mentioned understanding. It's paramount to the reference points that people are bringing into to that alpha course. They may know very little about Christianity, or they may be, just an exceptionally wise person, but there can be those two extremes, and to be able to have that with you is pretty amazing. It's a unique course, definitely.
Yeah. So I guess one question: are you looking forward to being part of the team now? And how does that feel?
Yeah, definitely. I'm apprehensive as well. It's going to be a new way of doing it via Zoom. So I
Yeah.
think all of us will be learning, and we'll get better at it as we go along. But yeah, to be able to share somebody's journey and to be part of it, I look at the people that were doing the same thing that I'm going to be trying to attempt, at least. Harry and yourself, and it's great to have those people along and to nurture you and to just be there in terms of just as a stimulus for a conversation, to be honest. And that's sometimes all it takes for things to develop. And yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to it.
Great, Scott. Well, I'm going to ask you one more question.
Sure.
How quickly? This is I don't know how you can answer this one quickly. How has Alpha really impacted your life?
I would, if I had to define it in one word, it would be springboard. And that would be because it's been a springboard to my faith, in terms of, as I mentioned, rekindling it and finding it again, but also a springboard in terms of being able to do other things and to know the people within the church. I mean, I've done a number of other courses as a result of doing Alpha. Had I not done Alpha, I can hand on heart say that there's no chance I would have done anything more within the church environment. And to be able to do that, to be able to have that springboard effect is just, that's brilliant. It's life changing, actually.
I think yeah, and it transforms church.
Yeah,
It
exactly. It
turns
makes it a
church from a bind into a joy because you're with
yeah.
friends.
Yeah, and going back to church now, I've been lucky enough to go back and doing some stewarding over the last month or so, and you get to see people again, and you realize how much of an important aspect of it. It may not necessarily be that you may not be 100% aware of it at that time, but if someone takes it away, then you realize it even more. And that's it. As you said, it makes it real and and eventful every time you go to church, as opposed to just sitting on a pew waiting for 10 or whatever the time is.
Well, thanks very much for sharing that with us, Scott. It's really good to hear from you.
It's my pleasure, Alex.
I hope you have a great time on Alpha, and that hopefully we'll get the people to come and enjoy that journey with. So thank you.
Indeed, and certainly worth it.